Hi guys, Evan here. This is the explanation for PT2 Game 2. This is a game that's both unbalanced and as maybe an added complication, it's vertical ordering. I don't think that makes it much harder. You could even do it horizontally, but when they have it set up like with floors of a building, I think it's conceptually easier to think of that the way you would see it in real life, with the floors going one on top of each other. So let me start by drawing that out. So here we have the 5 floors of the building. These are the 8 residents that are going to be going in there. So 8 into 5, you know you're going to have to double up. And it appears that's all you can do. You can have another apartment out here, right? But you can't have, any more. You couldn't have 3 or anything. So just remember that it's possible we'll have another line out here. You could line this up as this is apartment 1, and if we have it, this is where the second apartment's going to go. Up to you. Okay, so for the extra rules, J lives in a floor with 2 apartments, so J has to be next to someone. There's a block. Notice the order doesn't matter, so you could write J like this, and that would be the same thing. So just keep in your head that J's got to be with somebody else. We're going to put somebody in that other spot. Next one is K lives directly above P, and by directly above, again, in this game it doesn't matter if it's like staggered or whatever, so like P and then P right there, that's not going to matter, right? That's both okay. All we need to know is that K is on the floor directly above P. Now, the second floor is made up of only 1 apartment, so you got to strike this one out. There can't be any apartment there. O is not on the same floor as Q, so the 2 circular ones don't get along well. Kind of easy to remember visually. And now, lastly, M and N live on the same floor. So they're always buddies, and you couldn't ever have anybody else with them. And then our final rule, no Q on either the second or the first floor. Makes our lives a little bit easier to know that. Okay, with that, I didn't see any major inferences I can make. Obviously, there's the little stuff like for example, that K's not here and P's not here. You know that J can't be on this floor because it's got to be with somebody else. M and N are also out there, right? But it's up to you. At this point in my solving strategy, I don't have a hard time just seeing that. But if you're starting out, you should write that stuff in, definitely. Okay, so I'm feeling ready to move on to the questions. Let's attack those now. Problem number 6 asks us what must be true. So I'm looking for something easy that I can see right off the bat. And I scan through these, and I'm looking at Q lives on the 3rd floor. I'm looking for something really likely. So I'm going to do a first scan. And if I can't tell right away, it must be true. I'm going to move on and look for something more. So I do this with A and then Q on the 5th floor. Why not? L doesn't live on the 4th floor. Again, looks like L could live on the 4th floor. Not seeing any reason right away why that jumps out at me. Then I get down to D, N on the 2nd floor. And then right away I know M has to be in there too, but there's no space for him. So that jumps out at me right away. Don't try all of these out one by one. That's a beginner strategy right there. You gotta look for an easy one that you can see right away. 7 is the same thing, but now we're looking for what cannot be true. So I go through scanning these. K on the 2nd floor just doesn't look likely. I keep scanning M on the 1st floor. Why is that a problem, right? And so I do this process of scanning, then I get down to P on the 5th floor. P on the 5th floor, then that puts K on a 6th floor. We don't have a 6th floor, so that's a problem, and that's the right answer. So again, I'm scanning for something that is clear to me right away, just from that it's directly contradicting a rule. That's what you're really looking for on these easy questions at the beginning of games. And this is directly contradicting this KP rule over here. Okay, for 8, if J lives on the 4th floor, so I'm not going to write this in mini diagrams, I'll just do it straight in here. You would be making another little mini diagram to work these out. So here we've got J on the 4th floor and K on the 5th floor. So then we now know P's stuck here, things are looking pretty solid up on those top four. We've satisfied this rule over here. We've satisfied this rule. Now, what can be true here? And there's two ways to go about this problem. You can either try this first one out, you can try them out one by one, or you can eliminate them. Well, what can be true here? I look at O on the first floor, and to me it looks pretty possible. So right away I'm going to try and maybe figure something out here. We'll try M and N here, and then L can go here, and then we can stick Q up top, and everything's fine. That's got us the right answer, right? As long as you can see that's fine. The alternative strategy is you can eliminate these one by one. These other ones are pretty obviously not going to work. Q on the fourth floor, Q in 4. No, J and P are already stuck up in there. How about N on the 5th floor? No, then we'd have NN. You know, so you get the idea here. These are pretty easy to eliminate. L on the 4th floor, again, anything else on the 4th floor is just a no-go. P on the 3rd floor, that's not going to work either. We know P's here. So that would leave us with A. So two ways to get at that. I use the first strategy, but proceeding by elimination works if you're freaked out about making an acceptable order there. Okay, for 9, we got O on the 2nd floor. So what cannot be true with O on the 2nd floor? This is a pretty hard question, all right? There's two ways you can do it. You could look at these one at a time. I think that's going to be pretty laborious, and a lot of people probably are going to have to do that. Like K lives on the 4th floor. I'm looking at that, and I'm like, why not, right? We can just have MN, get maybe L in by itself down here, put J with P, Q with K, and I find out that that works, and I can eliminate A, and I go through that painstaking process. But what I did instead that's a little faster is I looked for something kind of suspicious, right? And what hasn't been placed here, L hasn't been. And when L goes in, it knocks out this 2nd floor. You can't have anything else there. So I was thinking to myself, well, what if we put L up here? That's going to be a problem, right? Now, where's our KP got to go? I try it here. That's not going to work, right? Try it up here, KP, and then I violated this rule that L can't be with anybody. I'm just realizing that I hadn't ever diagrammed that rule, so that was a big mistake on my part, but I'm talking about it now, so clearly I remembered it. L can't be with anybody. So I was thinking to myself, if L's in that 4th spot, you know, we're in big trouble. And then I look at that, and there it is, E. So I don't think everybody's going to get it solving it that way, but if you can have that kind of creative thinking, it's going to save you some time. Let me make sure this L and then nothing rule is written in here. When L's in, it has to be with a blank. Okay, for 10, we got M living on the 4th floor, so what has to be false? We put M and N right in there. And this actually turns out to be a variation on that same pattern, right? So I saw the pattern in the last question, and I was like, well, what if, you know, K or P isn't in here, then we're totally in trouble, right? You have to have K or P somewhere either here or here, right? So what if there's somebody in there that's preventing that? And that's going to be L. So this game really kind of works off a theme that's a common theme. So it might look a little bit like magic that I can just see this right away, but I'm used to these kind of themes. We got this KP block to work with. Where's that going to go? And that's what I'm thinking about all the time here. So if I put L in 2, or really if I put anybody in 2 other than K or P, we're in trouble. So it's really not L actually. Anybody other than K or P in 2, we're in trouble. So I look at C and that shows me somebody on the 2nd floor. And that's our correct answer. For 11, what must be true? I didn't see anything better with these. For 11, what must be true? I didn't see anything better with these than to just try them all out, right? So if J lives on the 4th floor, then Q does not live on the 5th floor. So let's just try to put Q on the 5th floor there. And right away, I'm not really seeing that there's going to be much problem with this. You got L, K, P, you can have O here, MN here. Everything works fine, right? So I can cross that off. Now, what about O lives on the 2nd floor? and then L does not live on the 4th floor. Does that have to be true? Yeah, if you try to put L on this 4th floor, you're in big trouble, and it's that same theme that we've seen now where there's no room to put the KP block. Sorry, that would actually be ordered like this. You know, nothing can go with L, so wherever we try to put it, KP block, we're in trouble. We're bumping into spaces where there can't be anything. So it must be true that L is not on the 4th floor if O's in this second spot, and that gives us our correct answer. For 12, if O lives on the 4th floor and P lives on the 2nd floor, so right away I'm sticking K in right here, then what must be true? So I'm looking at this and it looks like we gotta have L or MN down here, right? And L or MN right here. And then the last thing we really have to figure out where it can go is the J. It looks like the J can go a lot of places. It could be, here or here. What about the Q, right? So I can put like that the J can go here or here. And then I'm just looking to figure out where my last thing can go. Q, it can't be with O, right? It can't be with L. L has to be alone, or MN. Then you'd have 3 things in that apartment. That's no good, you know. Strike that out. So the only place Q can go is right here on the 3rd floor. So then I look for that in the answers, and there it is in C. Okay, so that was a good look at an unbalanced game. You have to stay pretty flexible with thinking about where these extra pieces can fly around. But once you grasp that theme about how the KP block needs some room to move, it's pretty easy to work your way through this game. Okay, see you on the next one.